So here for John and Mary, they really need to look first of all at the whole area of why it's important to make a will. We know that in this country we've got about 30% of people only make a will. The other 2/3 never get round to doing it. Okay? Now that can lead to all sorts of problems. The first one is really that if we don't make a will, it doesn't mean to say that we don't have one, it just means that the state writes one for us. And they define the beneficiaries, the people that will have a slice of our estate. So here in this scenario, John and Mary, their overall intention is that they look after each other, and then when they've gone, they want to look after their son, Peter. So in those circumstances, it's very important that the assets are protected in such a way that that can happen. But we're going to look at some pitfalls as we go through. So here on John's death, in a mirror will, everything goes to Mary, and then on Mary's death, then in those circumstances, everything goes to Peter. And I think for most of us, that's how we want things to go. Certainly if we've got children, that's the way we want to see things happen. What we need to do is just look at some of the pitfalls around that and see why perhaps a little bit more thought and planning can actually make sure that Peter ends up with things. And in this situation, if John then meets this new lady and gets remarried, then when he passes away, it's not Peter, but this new lady that has first claim on his estate. Okay? And most people wouldn't want to be in the position where the assets were diverted. And so many times we see people that have created that situation where they have built up an estate, married later in life, and then disinherited the children unintentionally by doing so. And here again we could look at a scenario where for John and Mary, if one of them becomes ill, then the assets could be lost. So here in this scenario, John's died, Mary has inherited everything, but if Mary then becomes ill, can't manage at home, first of all the savings are taken. When the savings are gone, if she has to go into care, then in that situation that cash is diminished. And the only thing we know that Peter is going to get in those circumstances, the threshold for care is just £14,250, is the bit that's left over, okay, less all the bills and funeral expenses. And the number of times I've seen clients that said, yeah, when mum and dad went, all we had left was 4,000 or 5,000 to split between us because they'd taken everything to pay for care. Again, this is a story that we hear on a daily basis, which motivates people to come to seminars, motivates them to see us. So here in this situation, Peter, if Mary then dies, having been taken down to that level of asset, is going to inherit from mum still. She made a will, she was conscientious enough to do that, but all that he's going to inherit is what she's got at the date of her death. Okay, not the assets that she had on the day that she made her will. And here, less 14,250, less the cost and all the other sundry bills that they've got, very often means that people only inherit 4,000 or 5,000. So many clients have said, well, that's all we inherited from our parents. And indeed, a number of people after the seminar this morning said exactly the same thing. That's why they were here, because they only got a few pennies from their parents because of this situation. So we really want to try and look at better ways of making sure that John and Mary's life's work was protected and goes to the people that they care about.